fancy. Hands up high and let me hear you say, somebody take me home, home. Somebody take me home, home. Somebody take me home, home. Somebody take me home. So many places in the world, so many beautiful things to see, but none of it compares to home. I'm from paradise, SPG, so from the hills to the mountains, high, high, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you go to be Vinci, put your hands up high and let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Wave and say, wave and say. Take a drive to the countryside, drop the window and feel the vibe. There's no other place I'd rather be. Me Vinci girl by my side. I tell them all the while, we don't have no gold nor oil, but we have wonderful people rich with beautiful smiles. From the hills to the mountains, high, high, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you go to be Vinci, put your hands up high and let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Wave and say, wave and say. Hey, Vinci me come from, and I will never sell out my heritage. So if you're looking for me, don't worry, you can find me up in the hills. I'm doing it the Vinci way. I wish every day was Vinci Day. So if you're proud of your country, put up on your hands and say, from the hills to the mountains, high, high, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you're proud to be Vinci, put your hands up high and let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say, this island is mine. Wave and say, wave and say, whoa, yeah. Radler, skinny fellas. Oh, this island is mine. Oh, 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 oh.
If we try federation and it didn't work as planned, why should we now change our course of direction? The search for unification is an important mission for our scattered people here in the Caribbean. Individually we just can't make it. Together we must fight and shape it for the benefit of we children. We gotta pave the road for them. So now with proper planning, our goals we will be achieving. With the grace of God the Almighty, we cross that bridge to victory as one Caribbean nation, one cultural projection, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. One Caribbean nation, a regional integration, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. innovation and start elevation to move on in certainty, leaving the problems behind. For in this world there's so many changes. Europe now collaborating despite the political policies. They are striving for unity. So we gotta take such a warning, for a new day is dawning. Forward to the 21st century, our people gotta move positively as one Caribbean nation, one cultural projection, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. One Caribbean nation, regional integration, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. One Caribbean nation, one cultural projection, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. One Caribbean nation, a regional integration, one God, one name, one destiny. If we want to live our lives happy, we got to check for unity, yeah. One Caribbean nation, one culture projection, one God, one name, one I have a vision that one day this world will face a revolution. We will rise up and prepare a way. Music, oh yes, will be the only weapon. I discuss it with Wiz and Boat while pausing in a jam. 17 years they were traveling this road to music land. They say the journey brings plenty sweat, but for the pleasure you won't regret. There's no crime, there's no frustration when you're in music land. Recession you don't have to fear. Sweet music fill the air. Take me
share a little consolation. I kept on searching this entire land. It's so hard, Lord, to find a real solution. I met Luba and Bitty set down, program in a soca. I presented my case in song. Hear what they said after. Determination brings sweet success, and that's the reason no one can test. Forget about making it alone. Things is not that sweet. Pressure turn gold to diamond stone. Meat will be there to eat. Take me, I beg you, take me. Where my culture can go freely from the bonds that are holding me. Take me, oh Lord, just take me. Where my music can play tax free. No hard feelings over money. Take me where I'll hold my baby and dance with she gently. Nobody to watch me as man continue to fight. A war that can never be won. I want to be with you there in music land. In music land. DLA, 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 DLA. Ay, 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 ay. You're moving. Music land is the destination. I can give you a warning. Quite soon, you go long to hear a band play. It's time you rise up, rise up, rise up and join in. Come and rescue your culture. Yes, no time for delay. I couldn't find Brantley, Wendy and Flesh. They were crossing the bridge. They can't wait for this burial. That's not their privilege. They say the hardships they just can't take. That vicious envy you generate. I don't want to be the only one left in this pollution. Pass me mic, pass me Congo drum. I know they want me to come. Take me, I beg you, take me. Where my heart will forever be. try to fight me down, but I keep on striving. For them alone, them would have taken me life, they would have stopped me from living. Give thanks for life, this life, but this life is worth living. I see success, progress, constant blessing. Cause who got blessed, no man curse now. Cause with blessings right up, hey, right up, hey. God bless, no man curse now. Cause with blessings right up, hey. Put something in the air, let me see some lighters, right up, hey. Drinks them high, I say, right up, hey. Hands up, right up, hey. Push them up, I say, right up, hey. Success, right up, hey. Respect, right up, hey. Love, right up, hey. Put something in the air. Over the years we've been working hard for this life. Sweat in my shirt, tears in my eyes. Hey, Father, heard my cry. Oh, they trying to bring me down, but the Father make me stronger. And we ain't going under. Cause the race is not for the swift, but those who endure to the end, my friend. And someone smile in front of your face, they love to pretend. I ain't got no time for them. No, they would never see me fall. No, cause who got blessed, no man curse now. Cause the blessings right up, hey, right up, hey. God bless, no man curse now. Cause the blessings right up, hey. Put something in the air, let me see some lighters, right up, hey. Drinks them high, I say, right up, hey. Hands up, right up, hey. Push them up, I say, right up, hey. Success, right up, hey. Respect, right up, hey. Love, right up, hey. Put something in the air. Though the road get rough, tough sometimes, I know the Father always by my side. I know the road get rough, tough sometimes, He's always by my side, yeah. Cause who got blessed, no man curse now. Cause the blessings right up, hey, right up, hey. God bless, no man curse now. Cause the blessings right up, hey. Put something in the air, let me see some lighters, right up, hey. Drinks them high, I say, right up, hey. Hands up, right up, hey. Push them up, I say, right up, hey. Success, right up, hey. Respect, right up, hey. Love, right up, hey. Put something in the air.
Calling me brothers, it will be good to see everyone help one another. It will be good to see everyone coming together. It will be good to see everyone helping each other. Your sister, your brothers, your father, your mama, your auntie. This is the day. Yeah. If I gotta fight, know that you gotta fight to go straight up the ladder. Never stop. Talking from deep in my heart, that down in my heart, yeah, we never stop on my winner. So let me say, everybody say, let me hear you sing it. Everybody sing it. Come together now. We'll be stronger if we come together now. We push forward if we come together now. As one people we can come together. Be much stronger, reach for greater, yo. Party, 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 party. Affecting reunion. Party, 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 party. Affecting reunion. Calling these letters. To get to the top, you know you got to deal with it better. And if we come as one and they say we gonna be bigger. You may not be the best, but I know you come in your colors. The feta is bigger, it's better, just come in and party. This is the day. Yeah. If I gotta fight, know that you gotta fight to go straight up the ladder. Never stop. Talking from deep in my heart, yeah, down in my heart, yeah, we never stop, I'm a winner. So let me say, everybody say, let me hear you sing it. Everybody sing it. Come together now. We'll be stronger if we come together now. We push forward if we come together now. As one people we can come together. party, 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 party. Affected reunion. Carnival time, that's my time. And me don't know that I your time. So come together, let we have a grand time. Let the children play one of them time. But you see right now, this is our time. So fall in line, no we kill time. And yes, we are go chip till the sun shine. I'm only gonna say this one time. This is the day. Yeah. If I gotta fight, know that you gotta fight. They go straight up the ladder. Never stop. Like if I'm deep in my heart, yeah, don't in my heart, yeah. We never stop, I'm a winner. So let me say, everybody say, let me hear you sing it. Everybody sing it. Come together now. We be stronger if we come together now. We push further if we come together now. As one people we can work together. Be more stronger, reach for greater, yo. Displaying this for Carnival Day. Hey, Vincy Mass in my land, masqueraders inside the band, jumping up to a soca beat, jab jab coming down to the streets. It no matter where you come from, represent for St. Vincent strong. Wave a rock show where you belong. Then join with me and come sing this song. Sing, I am a Vincy, a true Vincy. Sing,
Viewers, good evening, and let me welcome you to this live broadcast of the opening of the 50th meeting of the Caribbean Examinations Council and the presentation of awards to the top performers in the 2018 May-June examinations. We are just a few minutes away from the official start of the event. My name is Marlon Anton. I'm from the media unit of the Ministry of Education, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're very happy to be hosting this event this year. Just to give you an idea of the program, we have quite a packed program tonight. It starts with the parade of national flags. We have several flags of participating countries, CXC participating countries: Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, Barbados, Belize, British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, and Turks and Caicos. Right now, we are seeing the arrival of our dignitaries. Just a while ago, Honorable Godwin Friday, Leader of the Opposition, walked through the door. Honorable Sinclair Prince, Minister of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, is expected to be here. Other members of Cabinet, members of Parliament. We have already seated Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, the Chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council, Professor Nigel Harris, who is the former Chairman of CXC, Mrs. Maureen Williams, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, Examination, Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch, who is the Registrar of the Caribbean Examinations Council, other members of the Council, members of the School Examinations Committee, representatives of the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, and other senior public servants, the 2018 Regional Top Awardees, representatives of sponsors of Regional Top Awards, CXC resource persons, other specially invited guests, and we have representatives of our local media. So tonight we will see the official opening of council, as well as the presentation of several students from all across the Caribbean. And I know that the countries from which the students come, those persons there are locked on. I know Grenada is locked on. Antigua Barbuda would be locked on, St. Kitts and Nevis, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana, where our top awardees are from. We hope to be slipping in a few interviews, short interviews with some of our top awardees this year as well. Now, the awardees began arriving in St. Vincent on Sunday, last Sunday, and they have had a very packed program since their arrival. On Monday, they visited Bequia, the Grenadine island of Bequia, and according to all reports, they had fun. What was really good was that the students on the island of Bequia had the opportunity to interact with the top awardees. There was a session where the awardees shared their journeys, they shared their experiences, and the students there had the opportunity to ask questions about their study habits, and things that really worked for them. There was a similar activity just this morning, actually, for the students on mainland St. Vincent, where we had students from all the secondary schools represented, students from the technical institutes, as well as the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. So the students have been well engaged. There was also a tour of Bequia after their interactive session. They toured Bequia. They have done radio interviews. They have been on several local radio stations, and they have made courtesy calls on the Prime Minister acting. Prime Minister Gonzalez is out of the country right now, and so is the Deputy Prime Minister. So Honorable Montgomery Daniel is Prime Minister acting. So the students had the chance to meet with him, as well as some members of the council. So there was a courtesy call on the Prime Minister acting, as well as the Minister of Education, and a similar activity was done the following day, a courtesy call on the opposition leader, Dr. Godwin Friday. There was also a tour. The students had the opportunity to tour Young Island, and they had a chance to. Of course, there's the hotel on Young Island. They went all the way to the top of the island. They had a chance to see what the rooms were like and so on, and get a little history on the island. There has been a principals meeting that took place on Wednesday, yesterday at the community college, where principals met with members of the council. There was also a brunch for students. That was another interactive session. And tonight we're here for the official opening of council and the award ceremony, which would be followed by a cocktail. Tomorrow there will be a council meeting, and we wrap things up with a press conference. In the night there will be a cocktail reception as well. So I think the stage is well set, and we are just about getting ready for the official start of the program. It would be emceed by Jennifer Richardson of the Agency for Public Information. But just to give you an idea of the program, so there would be the parade of national flags, which would be followed by the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, done by St. Vincent Grammar School. We would have the invocation by Mr. Alwyn Joseph, and then opening remarks by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Then Glenroy Cumberbatch, Registrar of the Caribbean Examinations Council, would welcome the gathering, which would be followed by a performance by La Gracia Dance Company. Of course, La Gracia is a household name, students of primary and secondary schools. I'm not sure which contingent would be here tonight, whether it's the smaller ones or the little older ones, but Sir Hilary Beckles, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles would also give remarks. He, of course, is the chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council, which would be followed by an address by the Minister of Education, Honorable Sinclair Prince. We should have had the feature address by Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister, who is expected to return to the country tonight. I know he would have really liked to be here, but I've been advised that it is unlikely that he is going to be here. He's going to make it. There would be the presentation of awards in 3 categories. Students who performed well at CCSLC, and then there are the students who performed well at CSEC, and then there would be awards for outstanding performance at CAPE. We're expected to have a few items of entertainment from Resonance. That's a boy band, and the boys in that band, most of them just graduated from the community college and in fact did very well at CAPE. They are mostly all national scholars. I think one would do CAPE next year. Right, so that's just a look at the program. It looks as though the program should last about an hour and a half or so. Right, okay, now just to give you an idea of the awardees, we have several of them. The top awardee for the CSEC exams this year came from Antigua and Barbuda, and his name is Keandre Herbert. Keandre Herbert, and he is being awarded, let me just get my notes here, he's being awarded for achieving 20 subjects, all at grade 1. And he achieved grade 1 in biology, in Caribbean history, chemistry, economics, English A. Very diverse set of subjects here. English A and English B, French, information technology, integrated science, mathematics, office administration, physics, principles of accounting, principles of business, social studies, electronic document preparation and management, physical education and sport, human and social biology, technical drawing, and industrial technology. So I know all of Antigua right now is probably locked on and waiting anxiously to witness the presentation of this award to Keandre, a student of a past student of the St. Joseph's Academy in Antigua and Barbuda. Then at the level of CSEC, there would be an award for the most outstanding candidate in the sciences. And he's from Guyana, from Queen's College, Guyana. His name is Daniel Baldiothorn, and Daniel achieved grade 1s in 13 subjects and a grade 2 in 1 subject. So he achieved grade 1 in additional math, agricultural science, he had a double award, biology, chemistry, English A, English B, electronic document preparation, French, geography, human and social biology, integrated science, math and physics, and also grade 2 in French. Okay, so we're now witnessing the official start of the ceremony with the parade of national flags, and we have the flag of Antigua and Barbuda. I'm sorry, that should be Anguilla. The flag of Anguilla would be first. I hear the music which signals the entrance of the flags.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand
And CXC's Cleveland Sam is at the lectern for the parade of the national flags. Let's go stateside. Okay, so right now you are viewing the entrance of the flag of Antigua of Anguilla, followed by Antigua and Barbuda. Okay, and Antigua and Barbuda will be followed by the flag of Barbados.
We welcome our only territory in Central America, Belize. Next up, the British Virgin Islands, nature's little secrets. The Cayman Islands. The friendly nation, the Cayman Islands. Put your hands together and welcome the nature isle of the Caribbean, Dominica. The southern neighbor of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome the Spice Isle, Grenada. It's the only English-speaking country in South America. Welcome, Guyana. The land of wood and water. Put your hands together and welcome Jamaica. Up next, put your hands together and welcome Montserrat. The Emerald Isles of the Caribbean. St. Lucia, the home of the Pitons. St. Kitts and Nevis. Up next, we welcome Trinidad and Tobago, the land of steel pan, and calypso. The Turks and Caicos Islands. And our host country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the gem of the Antilles. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Audience, please sing along.
Land so beautiful, with joyful hearts we pledge to thee our loyalty and love and vow to keep you ever free. Whatever future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. Hallelujah, fair and blessed are your mountains, are so clear and green, a home to me, though I may stray, a heaven calm serene. Whatever the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. Our little sister islands like those gems, the lovely grenadines, upon their seas and golden sands, the sunshine never beams. Whatever future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
Thank you very much, boys from the St. Vincent Boys Grammar School. Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be done by Mr. Alwyn Joseph.
He's requesting that you sit. Please have your seats.
You have to share a few minutes. There's a long protocol list. So just please allow me to say good night to God's most precious creation, all of us. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Story is told in Rumpelstiltskin Skin about a farmer who wanted his king to see his daughter. So in dishonesty, he boasted about her gift of turning straw into gold. When she was asked by the king to use her gift that she didn't have, all she could have done was to cry. However, she was rescued by a magician who used his craft to turn straw into gold, but at a horrible price. Turning straw into gold is never easy. You have to have the gift. And we can still turn straw into gold. The skillful person turns straw into products that people really need. And she sells them and gets her gold. She does not only get gold for her product, but she is recognized by great minds and great men and women for her gift from her creation. The potential of our young people, students, is like straw, and somebody must work with them to bring it to goal. God has endowed young people with great gifts and have realized that through the efforts of many stakeholders, their parents, government with good vision, CXC, our regional examination body that is constantly evolving, the students themselves who have dreams, these are the good people that God put into our lives so we can turn straw into gold, and we need to appreciate them. You can clap, that's okay. A young man named Joseph in the Bible was brought before a great ruler of Egypt because of his gift. He started with a dream, and he interpreted his dream, and he also helped others to realize their dreams. Even though they tried to kill his dream, he persevered until he was brought before a great man. And he was made also into a great man. God wants us to be a people of great dreams, perseverance, and helpfulness, so we'll be able to fulfill our purpose while we are alive on earth. And these young people whom we have gathered together today or tonight, so that we can honor them. They didn't do like the farmer's daughter, to just sit and cry. Instead, they worked diligently with whatever resources they had to bring out the greatest potential, the valuable gift that was placed within them by Almighty God and harnessed by the stakeholders I mentioned, parents, government with good vision, and CXC, our evolving educational regional body. Yes, we are still turning straw into gold. And I am glad that I am part of the process. I ask, what role do you play in bringing out the best from our students, in bringing our students to greatness? And tonight we pray for all these organizations and good people that they will continue to harness the gift of our students and young people. Gifts that will bring them to greatness and gifts that will bring them before great men and great women of their time. And we also pray that God will help our students to dream great dreams like Joseph that will make their contribution relevant and useful to society. And so tonight we thank God, the giver of good gifts, for what he has done and will continue to do through our students, our parents, our government, and the CXC in the effort to turn straw into gold. And I believe that they do this, we all do this, because we agree with Nelson Mandela, who said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Please bow for prayer. Our Father, tonight, we thank you for life, and we thank you for wisdom, and we thank you for putting it in the hearts of men and women so they can work together to bring out the best from our people, the greatest resources that we have. And we thank you for all the students who would have achieved well, and tonight they will be honored. We thank you for their parents who supported them, that they too will feel honored. We thank you, Lord, for government and other stakeholders who would have worked together to bring out the best from these students. We thank you for our regional body, CXC. We ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so they can continue to evolve so as to make education relevant and useful to our society. We ask for your blessing upon us tonight as we are gathered here. For all those who will speak, I pray that they will do so, and that they will do so with clarity, and that our hearts would be encouraged. We pray for those who will be presenting their various items, that everything will be done well. We ask that in the end, that we all will say it was good to be here, and you would receive all the honor and the glory and the praise. And if you know it, please say the Lord's Prayer with me. Our Father, which in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Good night, and God bless you.
Very much, Mr. Joseph. And Mr. Joseph is both principal of one of our local secondary school, as well as a pastor. So you could understand why he had to give some instructions here tonight. We also want to thank the St. Vincent Grammar School for their rendition of the national anthem, and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cadet Corps for the parading of the national flags. Honorable Godwin Friday, Leader of the Opposition. Honorable St. Clair Prince, Minister of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Mrs. Deborah Charles, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Other members of Cabinet and members of Parliament. Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman, Caribbean Examinations Council. Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair, Caribbean Examinations Council, Professor Nigel Harris, former Chairman of CXC, Mrs. Maureen Williams, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch, Registrar of CXC, members of Council, members of the School Examinations Committee, representatives from the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, and other senior public servants, 2018 Regional Top Awardees, representatives of sponsors of Regional Top Awards, CXC resource persons, specially invited guests, members of the media. Welcome all. My name is Jennifer Richardson, and I am the stand-in Master of Ceremonies for tonight. I apologize for the unavoidable absence of our MC, Miss Dion John. It is with an overwhelming sense of appreciation that I welcome you this evening to the Methodist Church Hall in the most picturesque Caribbean island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the opening of Council and presentation of Regional Top Awards ceremony for the Caribbean Examination Council, the CXC. This evening's ceremony recognizes students throughout the region for their outstanding performance in the May-June examinations. Students will be recognized for outstanding performances in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, the CCSLC. St. Vincent and the Grenadines last hosted these meetings in 2006, so we consider it a distinct privilege to again be hosting in 2018, and I am sure you were all excited to land at our modern and beautiful Argyle International Airport and to have visited the sites, especially in Beckway. Of course, the students all attest to this when they visited NBC Radio and other radio stations around the country during the week. I also take this opportunity to recognize and greet in a very special way persons who have gathered here this evening, as well as viewers via live stream on www.cxc.org/cxctv, www.nbcsvg.com/livestream, and the assigned frequencies of 107.5 and 90.7 FM that are bringing this broadcast live. Welcome again, everybody. At this point, I want to call on our Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Maureen Williams, to bring us some opening remarks. Mrs. Williams has been in education for the last 35 years, where she continues to be in education, 36 years, that is. She has been a teacher, a principal, education officer, and now she is a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation, and Information. So to bring you opening remarks, I ask you to welcome Mrs. Maureen Williams. You see me? Forgot my box. I'm not one to accept the protocol, but because it was just read, I beg to accept the protocol at this time. I also wish to apologize. I know the minister is going to do it as well, but to apologize for Honorable Prime Minister, who is either in the air or probably now coming through the airport, and members of Second Council. Well, members of council, he will be with you tomorrow evening. This year, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is pleased to host the 50th meeting of Council and Regional Top Awards ceremony of the Caribbean Examinations Council. our ministry, the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, is particularly honored to be the conveners of this very important exercise, our last hosting of the event being in 2006. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to identify the alleviation of poverty, the enhancing of economic competitiveness and social development as crucial areas that give indication of an independent nation. Crucial to the achievement of these goals is the recognition by the government of the role of education. As such, much emphasis has been placed on reform in the education sector, focusing on the areas of access, quality, and equity. Coupled with the accepted fact that education is important is the agreement that stakeholder collaboration and partnership are crucial for the development of education at the country, regional, and international levels. This 50th meeting of Council and Regional Top Award ceremony of CXC, I believe, is an activity of that statement. This meeting brings together persons from across the region, educators, technocrats, administrators, representatives of our governments, and other partners. Caribbean people have always been on the move, even before the formalization of this movement by the coming into being of such established organizations as Federation and CARICOM, and many others. Our people's movement have been occasioned by, but not limited to, such events as enrolling in institutions of higher learning, relocation of companies, industries, expansion, demand for specialist expertise, and not in the least, marriage, your current speaker being an example of the latter. You will therefore find in this gathering nationals of one territory who reside and work in another. The importance of education has been heralded over the years in rather colorful forms by many of our cultural icons. It is clear to me, and I'm sure to you, that in the case of our awardees, who we have had the pleasure to spend some time with throughout this week, we are sure that even though these tunes by our icons were current in the era of your grandparents, the messages have somehow trickled down to your generation. The lyrics and verses asking little black boys to go to school and learn by Trinidadian-born Gypsy or the Grenadian-born Mighty Sparrow, imploring children to go to school and learn well, have come true in our top awardees this evening. I'm sure you will agree with me. Surely, you would have purposed years ago that in your school performance, like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Calypsonia, and Beckett, are coming high, 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 high. Having achieved your goal, you can borrow the words of the Jamaicas, Louise Bennett, and declare, "Now me bright, not a soul can take with me education." In the short time you have been with us awardees, you have inspired the fifth form students with whom you have been in contact. Continue to inspire others as you continue on your path of excellence. Sustainable Development Goal 4 has to do with education in the post-2015 development agenda, and it aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. We are cognizant that the curriculum plays an essential role in enabling quality learning, a crucial element necessary for the attaining of this goal. It is the curriculum that determines to a large extent whether education is inclusive and consequently ensures that provision is equitable. It is the curriculum that provides the structure for the provision of quality learning, especially where teachers might be underqualified and inexperienced, their classrooms under-resourced, and we are too familiar with this in our Caribbean setting, and students lacking the prior frameworks within which to situate their learning. So we can say the curriculum, in other words, provides the bridge between education and development, and it is the competencies associated with lifelong learning and aligned with development needs in the broadest holistic sense of the term that span that bridge. But assessment is a means used to determine if that learning has taken or is taking place. And here we situate the Caribbean Examinations Council, charged with that responsibility to provide the tools for assessment. I believe that the ceremony this evening is an indicator that your responsibility, CXC, is being carried out in your assessment practices. As I close, the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, and by extension, the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines extend a warm welcome to the members of SEC, Council, and CXC to our beautiful shores. I believe you will find a little piece of each of your islands someplace in this gem of the Antilles. Experience the warmth of a people, the beauty of a landscape, Hairuna, home of the blessed.
Thank you very much, P.S. Williams. Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch has been an educator all his life. Teacher, education officer at the Ministry of Education in Barbados, CXC local registrar, CXC pro registrar, and in 2014, he was appointed registrar of CXC. At this time, I would like you to join me in welcoming Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch, the Registrar of CXC, to bring welcome remarks. Mr. Cumberbatch.
Good evening. Not to the Honorable, the Honorable Goodwin Friday, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable St. Clair Prince, Minister of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, Mrs. Deborah Charles, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, other members of the Cabinet, other members of Cabinet and members of Parliament, Professor Sir Hilary Beckers, Chairman, Caribbean Examinations Council, Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair, Caribbean Examination Council, Professor Nigel Harris, former Chairman of CXC, Ms. Maureen Williams, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, members of Council, members of the School Examinations Committee, representatives of the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation, Information, and other senior public officials, 2018 Regional Top Awardees, representatives and sponsors of Regional Top Awards, CXC resource persons, specially invited guests, members of the media. Good evening. Yes. It is with pleasure that we are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for our 50th meeting of SEC and Council and for our anniversary, our awards ceremony. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has taken bold steps over the years in taking on CXC examinations and some aspects of CXC programs. In 2013, they took a bold step to use the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment. When others were reluctant to move into that direction, St. Vincent and the Grenadines decided to take it on. And only on Tuesday, when we met with some of the ministers, we heard a story of a minister being proud that when he was given the awards for performance in primary school exams, that for the first time, 2 of the schools in his constituency were able to receive those awards. But what had changed? That was the first cadre of persons who would have gone through the CPEA program and would now have been in fifth form. What else had happened during that time that would result in such a performance? And we can only believe that it was CPEA that was the change in that. Now, if we don't believe that, we can believe that based on statistics that we have gathered so far, that students who did CPA and went on to do CSEC English had a median of 69, whereas students who did not do CPA but went on to do English CSEC had a median of 44. In relation to mathematics, those who did CPA and went on to do maths had a median of 46, whereas those who did not do CPA and went on to do mathematics have a median of 33. So the two of those things together will give us a little more confidence in believing that CPA actually made a difference. So we thank them for the bold step, and we have come through to them, and the students, I'm sure, are feeling better, and they have been rewarded for their efforts. As mentioned earlier, we were here in 2006, and we are very happy to be here again. St. Vincent is always a place where we want to come and where everybody feels welcome. And it was really nice to land at the new airport also, which is one of the pride of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But this meeting is about serious business. And over the next today and tomorrow, we'll be focusing on the programs of CXC during 2018 and approving the plans for 2019. And some of those plans is to continue along the way of our e-transformation. You will recognize that CXC is doing more and more electronic, putting more and more of its activities into the electronic medium. And in 2018, we expanded our e-testing with not only multiple choice questions, but multiple choice questions, essays, and short answers. And in 2018, we also expanded to allow students to bring their own devices. That has worked well for us. And in a way, it has been a savior for one of our territories, the Virgin Islands, who, because of the 3 devastations they had in 1 year, had no space or no proper housing to store their papers. And instead, they said, we want to do all electronic testing. And we're very proud to have been able to do that, and it went extremely well. That is what can happen. This year, we also launched for the first time our electronic certificates. All students received their paper-based certificates, but they also were given, some of them for whom we had email addresses, would have been sent electronic certificates. Now, what is an electronic certificate? For people who like to hang their certificates on the wall, you can actually walk with it in your hand now and show everybody you meet. But it has a level of security. There is a challenge with certificates and whether they are real or not. And many of the calls that come to a CXC office is about the validation of qualifications brought to them by other persons to see whether, in fact, these are real. The electronic certificate would not require you to call to ask anything. By typing into a URL, you will get access to see whether it is one that was issued by CXC or not. Or you can scan the image on the iPad or on the smartphone, and it will tell you whether that is a true certificate or not. It will not be burnt. It will not be damaged by water. It will always be there for you. We may lose some business in replacement certificates because that is a permanent activity now. Even if you lost your phone, you log back on the system, put in your credentials, and you have the e-cert again for you. But it brings some confidence to persons when you take that qualification to them, that they can prove that it is a real qualification as we go on. And we will continue in 2019, but we're looking from 2020 to offer only those certificates. And all of you in the audience who are asking, can I get my certificate in the block cert? We will soon be offering that option to you at some point in time. We also launched this year a learning hub, electronic learning hub, where students can have access to all the resources that they would need to study for the Caribbean Examination Council's exams. It is in the beta testing version, and in early next year, we'll be launching the full version for persons there. So we're asking persons to log on, go on the site, test the site, give us the comments so that we can make the improvements before we do the full launching. So welcome. We have lots of work to do. We have lots of things tomorrow to agree on. Today's meeting was relatively long. I'm sure tomorrow's is going to be a little longer because we have great decisions. But there's no better place to be in having those meetings than St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Glenroy Cumberbatch, Registrar of the Caribbean Examinations Council. And for those of you who may have just joined the live broadcast on radio and also via live stream, you're listening to the opening of the 50th meeting of the Caribbean Examinations Council and presentation of awards for outstanding performances in the May-June 2018 examinations. And for those of you who are visiting St. Vincent, you know we cannot have a session like this and you have no entertainment. So you're about to experience some Vincy culture through dance. So at this time, we want to put our hands together and welcome La Gracia dancers as they perform for us.
This poem shall speak of the wretched sea that worships these shores, of mothers crying for their young swallowed up by the sea. This poem shall say nothing new. This poem shall speak of time, time unlimited, time undefined. Yes, this poem is a drum, Ashanti, Ma, Igbo, Yoruba, Nyabingi warriors, Yohuro, Namibia, Yohuro Soweto, Yohuro Africa. This poem is to be continued in your mind, 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 in your mind.
Viewers, welcome back. I have with me CXC's Public Relations Manager, Cleveland Sam. Cleveland, you've been in St. Vincent since Sunday.
Yes,
tell us what's the journey been like since then?
Well, so far it has been awesome. I really like to thank the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information for hosting the meeting so far. You guys have planned a really awesome event for the students who have been here from Sunday as well. They have really been having a great time in St. Vincent and the Grenadines since they have been here.
All right, and later on in the program, we will witness the presentation of awards to several of the students for CCSLC, CSEC, and CAPE.
That's right.
Right. So my question is, because we know CXC has CPEA, right, and there's also the CXC Associate's degree. Mm-hmm. There's CVQ as well.
CVQ as well.
Right. So the absence of those awards in
right.
this presentation, can you speak to that?
Right. So let me first of all say that the awards that CXC offers now have come over time. So for example, 2006, when the meeting was held here in St. Vincent, was the first time we actually gave awards for CAPE. So the CAPE Awards basically are returning to St. Vincent in
right.
a matter of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, we only had awards for CSEC. So there's a process. CCSLC Awards, this is just only the third year we are offering awards for CCSLC. We started in 2016 in Barbados and last year in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have started a discussion about awards for CVQs. So what has to happen? The Measurement and Evaluation Department needs to come up with criteria for what these awards are going to look like and what prizes the students are going to get. With respect to the CXC Associate degree, the Associate degree is based on CAPE units. In fact, a decision was taken today that the students would now complete 10 CAPE units rather than 8 in order to accomplish the Associate degree. So in effect, it's the same students who are doing the CAPE who are going to be getting the CXC Associate degree. So there might not be a need for an award for the Associate degree. And the final one, CPA. I know CPA is relatively new and it's only being done in 4 territories right now. I know that a conversation has not, or I am not aware of a conversation that has started about the CPA award. But obviously I think it's something that CXC will look at in the future. What I will tell you as well is that what CXC has done for some of the top CPA students, especially those who write the short stories, is to actually publish their short stories electronically. So they have this group of young primary school students who are now authors in their own right.
Right. Now, the month of November in St. Vincent was actually declared TVET month, Technical and Vocational Education and Training. We put a lot of focus and attention on TVET, the promotion of it and so on. And I recognize that in the, since 1988, CXC has been recognizing students for outstanding performance in technical and vocational education.
Yes.
This is at CSEC. But there is no student this year that is receiving an award for TVET.
Very good observation. So, remember when I talk about CVQ, I talk about criteria. CXC is a criteria and reference-based examination board. Therefore, students have to meet the criteria in order to get a grade. Similarly, for all of the awards, in order for students to be deemed a regional top awardee, that student has to meet the criteria that are set for that particular award. And this generally will include grades 1 in a combination of subjects and, where possible, grade 2s. So this year, no one has met the criteria for the CVQ award. We also have, for the TVET award at CCEC.
Right.
We also have a technical award at a technical studies award at CAPE, and similarly, no one has met the criteria as well this year for that award. Unfortunately, we also have an award for information and computer technology at CAPE, and this is the second consecutive year that no student has met the criteria for those awards.
Now, CXC has quite a few participating countries.
16.
Right, 16 participating countries on board. But the awards are basically scattered over 6 countries, territories. Is this consistent with what has been happening in the last couple of years?
So I would say it is generally consistent, but there are times when you have a disruption in the trend. So for example, St. Vincent as the host country, if I look at St. Vincent, we had Camelwood in 2004, who's actually topped the entire region for CSEC. In 2007 or 2008, we had another Vincentian student, Denise Westfield, who's actually here tonight. She topped the region for the best short story. We have had students from St. Lucia, from the other Caribbean, the OCS countries. But as you rightly said, most of the awards are right now being won by students from the larger territories, the Jamaica,
Guyana,
and
Trinidad.
And you will notice that there's no Barbados as well.
Right.
So there's a lot of different factors that impacts on this, right? And this year we have an Antiguan who's a top CSEC student, and this is the second time in 3 years it's happening. What happens in some countries is that students take math and English in either 3rd or 4th form. In order to win the award, you have to take all of the subjects in one sitting. And this impacts students from various countries in terms of who win the award. So I think the Guyanese have done a really good job of studying the criteria for the CSEC award in particular, and now they're also winning CAPE awards in studying the criteria for the various award categories and register for subjects according to that. The Trinidadians have always dominated CAPE, and they continue to dominate CAPE.
Yeah, but the which is the thing I really like about the students forum, the students fora that we had, because there were 2 of them, where the students, the top awardees actually had the opportunity to share some of these ideas with the local students. This morning, for example, I found the session really useful, and I hope it was really meaningful to all locals.
Thank you very much, La Gracia dancers. Put your hands together again for them. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving right along. The chairmanship of the Caribbean Examinations Council is held by the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies or the University of Guyana. Professor Sir Hilary Beckles was elected as the 8th chairman of CXC in December 2014. Before assuming this office of Vice Chancellor, the University of the West Indies on May 1st, 2015, he served the university as Professor of Economic History, Pro-Vice Chancellor for Undergraduate Studies, and Principal of the Cave Hill campus in Barbados from 2002 to 2015. Sir Hilary has a distinguished career as an academic, writer, cricket enthusiast, international thought leader, and global public activist in the field of social justice and minority empowerment. Please join me in welcoming Professor Sir Hilary Beckles as he comes to deliver the chairman's remarks.
Thank you, Madam. I hope that one day I'll be able to give my speech in dance. But not tonight. Minister Prince, other distinguished members of Parliament, officials of government, P.S. Williams, all of my colleagues at CXC, Deputy Chair Dr. Potter, Professor Harris and Vice Chancellor Griffith, our student awardees and their friends and families. Friends, very good evening, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure for all of us at CXC to be here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is of special significance to me as a black Barbadian leaving Barbados to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is a statement that is loaded with historical significance. Because, you know, in the slavery period, because Barbados had no mountains like Jamaica, where the African peoples could run to the hills, we had no hills to run, so we ran to St. Vincent. Thousands of our people would sail away on canoes at night and find our freedom and welcome in St. Vincent. So each time I travel to St. Vincent, that history resonates with me. It is personal. It is also good to be here in the presence of the world which is being shaped by Prime Minister Gonzalez. Prime Minister Gonzalez was my colleague for many years as a lecturer at the Cave Hill campus and a very good friend. And I can share with you that I know of no Prime Minister in the Caribbean who would pick up the phone and call us at the university on a regular basis to say, I have 2 or 3 young people here who are very bright, but they have no resources. There must be something that the university can do for them. I think I have received phone calls like that at least 50 times. And if Prime Minister Gonzalez was here with us this evening, he will be able to confirm that not once did we let him down. Not once. I am motivated by the narrative given to us by Pastor Joseph. I don't think it was a coincidence that Pastor Joseph told the story of Joseph. But it is the most relevant story of this evening. Because the story of Joseph is the story of young, creative intellect recognized and put into the service of his people. That, I believe, is the story of Joseph, as I remember it. How recognized talent and genius is mobilized to serve the good of the wider community and society. And I believe this is precisely what we are dealing with in this award ceremony this evening. The recognition of young intellect, which we will urge to go forth and serve his people. It's important, I believe, to historicize all of these kinds of situations because there is always a context and a background. 5 million of our ancestors were brought out of Africa and brought to the Caribbean in chains. Over 80% of the 5 million were young people. The young, beautiful talent of Africa transported across an ocean and brought to these islands. Young people. And they were brought here to perform manual labor. Historians are now coming around to realize and to speak and write about it, that if you move 5 million young people from one place to another place, it is not labor that you are moving. It is intellect that you are moving. It is the intellect, the young, creative intellect of a country, a region that you are transporting. And so the slave trade was not simply a trade in labor. It was a movement of intellect, of talent, of creative genius, of innovators, of priests, of writers, of artisans. All kinds of peoples were caught up in that movement. Those are our foreparents. Our history is filled with the creative ways in which this intellect has expressed itself these past 400 or 500 years. History is filled with the stories of how young people use their intellect across these islands. This is the last generation. This is the last generation that we are now celebrating. The last generation of the brightest of our young people, academically talented and gifted. And what was true of Africa was also true of Asia. The hundreds of thousands of peoples brought from Asia, because they were poor and distressed, brought across to these islands to labor. And the young people of Indian ancestry also demonstrated their intellect continuously over the 100 years of indenture. We have a legacy. We have a phenomenal legacy of intellectual engagement in these islands. These islands have demonstrated consistently the extraordinary concentration of intellectual genius and creativity. The history shows this continuously. Just a few weeks ago, the University of the West Indies was able to mobilize its enormous intellectual legacy, the legacy of 7 decades of Caribbean peoples and their friends and supporters from other parts of the world. Mobilize this tremendous intellectual legacy of 70 years of Caribbean effort and place that legacy creatively before the Times Higher Education to rank our university. And not just rank the university, because the university is an institution. It's to rank the intellectual capacity of the people of the Caribbean, to rank it on a global scale. I was not surprised by the results that we were ranked out of 100 universities in the Caribbean, we were ranked number 1. You can clap for that if you wish. I was not surprised that out of 2,000 universities in Latin America and the Caribbean, the UWI was ranked in the top 3%. I was not surprised that of the 28,000 universities in the world, 28,000 in the world, that our university was ranked in the top 5% of the best of them. And it is not about the university as an institution per se. It is about the output of the youth of this region. Because the intellectuals who contributed to the legacy of UWI, the vast majority of them, did that brilliant creative work in their youth. In their youth is when that work was done. The legacy we have before us now was constructed by men and women in their youth. Now we are at a crossroads, and this is why the Joseph story is so central to what I have to say. There is today a sociological view which has been articulated in academia, not only in the region but outside of the region, that we Caribbean peoples are now a tired and exhausted people. That we have now run out of steam and energy. And all of the evidence of observing Caribbean society suggesting that we, the Caribbean peoples, are now a tired and exhausted people. That having fought against slavery, having fought against indentureship, having fought against colonization, having fought for the right to vote, having fought for independence, having fought for social and racial dignity, having fought all of these battles over the last 300 years, all of these battles, now we are tired. We are tired. And because we are tired, we are drifting. And many of the social ills that we describe in our societies, many of the economic ills, they say are the result of the fact that we are now tired and exhausted. Now, I can share with you my own view. I do not believe this to be true at all. I believe it might be true that we are at a moment where we are taking a new guard. It might be true that after 50 years of independence and so on, that we are now reflecting on the second phase. What will the second phase look like? What are the issues that we have to address in the next wave of our energy? And those of you who play cricket, you know, when you score 100, you don't go to the wicket and flash your bat from 1 and score 100. You might race to 50. And then you say to yourself, I'm going to relax for 2 or 3 overs.
And no matter how bad the bowling, I'm going to relax for 3 or 4 overs and start again and race down to the 100. That is how you construct these things. And maybe it is true that we are now at a moment of reflection. And therein lies the importance of our Josephs, because it is to the youth that we are now going to be looking for the leadership of the next phase. These are the young people who will determine what our societies will look like, what the economic growth process will look like, what the social justice will look like, what the culture will look like, the ethics, the morality. We are here, Reverend Joseph, we are here at a Joseph moment. And we are looking to these brilliant young people to pull us out and take us forward. I believe that they are just the tip of the iceberg. They are the tip of the iceberg. Behind them are hundreds and thousands of other highly focused, disciplined, young Caribbean men and women, bright in their eyes and looking to the future. I am honored and proud to be a part of the CXC. And as you have heard from our registrar, this is our 50th session, and we are here. And in our 50th session, we are here to say to our awardees, you are the gifts of your ancestors. You have come hither because there is a long legacy behind you, and there are many organizations that surround you, and this is why you're here. You are here because you have been brought here. And now we are getting ready to pass the baton to you. I wish to extend congratulations to you and your friends and your supporters and your families. I wish you all the very best. I certainly hope that each and every one of you will journey into one of your regional universities. I would have said some time ago NTUWI, but in the presence of Vice Chancellor Griffith, I will not say that. Because the University of Guyana is our sister university. And I would wish some of you to go there and help to build that university that he is now so ably leading. So, colleagues, friends, we celebrate our awardees. I congratulate you, and I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sir Hilary Beckers, the CXC chairman. Next, we are going to hear from our Minister of Education, National Reconciliation, and Information. Honorable St. Clair Prince is a proud product of the Mariacor Valley. He was born and raised in Mesopotamia and received his education at the Mariacor Government, Cane End Government, and the St. Vincent Grammar School. He received his tertiary education at the Caribbean Institute of Mass Communication, CARIMAC. He is a retired director of the Agency for Public Information. To deliver this evening's address, please welcome the Honorable St. Clair Prince, Minister of Education, National Reconciliation and Information of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a pity you had to mention the mass communication bit. Sometime in Jamaica, a couple of months ago, I think, a former colleague asked me how come I had such a front row view of politics for nearly 30 years and still get into politics. And he said, Jimmy, you're a sucker for punishment. I said, no, actually, this one is easier. Honorable Dr. Friday, Leader of the Opposition, Mrs. Deborah Charles, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Education, other members of Cabinet, I see Honorable Luke Brown around, members of Parliament, Professor Hilary Beckles, and Professor, we hope that we could find another university whose consciences are so pricked that they would be able to give us some more reparations. Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair, Caribbean Examinations Council, Professor Harris, P.S. Williams, Mr. Cornbatch of CXC, members of Council, members of the School Examinations Committee, other distinguished members of the audience, good night. I'd like, first of all, to apologize for the absence of the Honorable Prime Minister. He would have liked to be here very much, but matters of state kept him away, and he's on his way to St. Vincent at the moment, probably is here already. Of course, the Prime Minister is a very ardent follower of the education of Caribbean people, borne out by his support for regional institutions like CXC and the University of the West Indies. And of course, he is the architect of the education revolution here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, of which most Vincentians are very proud. I wish to extend my own welcome to everyone to our Gem of the Antilles, our group of islands. Our people are indeed delighted to have you, our CARICOM partners, with us on this, the occasion of the 50th meeting of Council and the Regional Top Awards ceremony of CXC. It is a veritable pleasure for our multi-island state to host you. I can assure you that our esteemed Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, all members of Cabinet and Parliament are happy and proud that such a meeting is taking place here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this moment. I truly consider it an honor to be in the company of my Caribbean family as we join together to celebrate with CXC the opening of its 50th annual governance meeting, and to also recognize and celebrate the outstanding achievement of 17 of our top regional students. Hosting of this meeting reaffirms St. Vincent and the Grenadines' commitment to regional integration and to CXC, our regional examining body. And we ought to be proud of CXC, our homegrown examining institution, which is here to nurture and educate homegrown people of this Caribbean civilization. To the awardees, this achievement is simply another step in your climb to success. You have already demonstrated that dedication, determination, and hard work reap good success. Be mindful, though, that with each step towards that dream, greater effort is required. You must not, therefore, relent, but forge ahead with even greater determination in your quest for greatness. The rest of the Caribbean is looking at you, and there is no doubt that you have already inspired our younger generation. Not only so, but we all are looking to you as future Caribbean leaders, as you heard from the Vice-Chancellor, to find innovative and mitigating ways of addressing the myriad of challenges that we as a people face. Ladies and gentlemen, you have often heard repeated, and you heard it here tonight, the saying by one of the world's greatest leaders, the late Nelson Mandela, that education is the most important weapon with which to change society. Education is indeed fundamental to growth and development. Education is a critical means of social and economic mobility. The survival of our Caribbean civilization, therefore, lies deeply within human capacity, our people's ability to think logically, critically, and innovatively. It is by educating our human capital that we as a community will be able to thrive. This is not lost on you, or not to be lost on you, but we need to repeat it every time we have a chance to do so. The Caribbean Examinations Council has recognized the importance of a quality education to the continued existence of the Caribbean region. This realization is evident within its various subject offerings and programs in its goal to remain current and relevant. It is evident that the work of CXC has been building resilience within the Caribbean region through the provision of quality education. In particular, there are some subject offerings whose undertones are fundamental to the survival of our Caribbean society. Therefore, the region must seek out ways on how it can promote economic growth and build a stronger and more resilient financial sector so that it can adequately attend to the needs of its people. CXC, as a means of demonstrating its understanding of the economic climate of the region, introduced in 2017 at the Cape level the subject Financial Services Studies. This subject area will allow for our students to have a broader knowledge of the financial sector and build an awareness of the international importance of the financial service industry to the Caribbean region. Providing quality and accessible education to our Caribbean people is integral in realizing the region's sustainability. Every citizen must be educated to reach their full potential and to contribute meaningfully to their society. No one must be left behind. The Second Chance program offered by CXC, I perceive, has as its mantra, no young mind being left behind. The creation of this program has allowed the unemployed, the teenage mother, and those with a criminal record a second chance at obtaining formal education and receiving certification, either in the Caribbean Certificate Level Competence, the CCSLC, or at the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ level. Our people must not be denied the opportunity to an education. There were times when we were denied that opportunity, and CXC is trying to right that, and I'm happy about it. Finally, the introduction of Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, the CPA, by CXC has proven to be a valuable assessment framework, though so few of our Caribbean territories have adopted this model. The structure of this assessment has been supported by research which has indicated that there is a direct positive correlation between students' active involvement in their own learning and their achievement, and parental involvement in their child's education and that of the child's achievement. Assessment can no longer be viewed solely as a summation of knowledge acquired, but we must be told through assessment what students are able to do with the knowledge they acquire. Our world is changing at a rapid rate. We exist in tumultuous and uncertain times. We therefore need to create persons who can provide meaningful and valuable contributions to community building and to nation building. We must see assessment as an integral part of instruction that enhances, empowers, and celebrates students' learning. The CPEA, the Grade 6 Exit Assessment, has, from its implementation in Grenada in 2012, been trailed by many success stories, from an improvement in students' performance to an improvement in their attitude and engagement. Locally, we have recorded improved performances since the implementation of the assessment in 2014. The percentage pass for each year since the implementation and compared to the percentage passes for the previous common entrance examinations shows that in 2014, 78.08% of our students met the required standard at the CPEA. In 2015, 80.90%. 2016, 83.8%. 2017, 85.35%. 2018, 87.43%. And forgive me for using St. Vincent and the Grenadines in this example, but that's all I know. For the last 5 years of the common entrance examinations, in 2013, 55.7% of our students met the required standard. That's in common entrance. In 2012, 53%. 2011, 51%. 2010, 57%. 2009, 51%. Note that with the introduction of this new assessment model, students' performance has spiked. This steady improvement in student performance has been the hallmark of this homegrown examination. This was reflected in this year's results here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where approximately 50% of our schools recorded pass rates of 70% to as high as 92%, and 20 of our 27 secondary schools with pass rates above 60%. For the CAPE exams, there was an overall pass rate of 91.04%. Ladies and gentlemen, CXC has no doubt been expanding and moving with the changing times and has as its highest priority the education of the people of our region. Despite these changing times, CXC has managed to remain relevant socially, economically, culturally, and otherwise. And I like to emphasize culturally. And this is very important for our cohesion as a people. The aim of our government should then be to provide quality and accessible education to all citizens if they are to stay afloat with the rest of the world. I wish also to mention that there are some challenges faced by the participating countries as we seek to adjust to the new initiatives of CXC at times. And you know what I'm talking about. Though quite similar in many areas, each country has its peculiarity of challenges based on a number of variables. I am sure that those who represent their territories in these meetings, that of SEC earlier today, that the SEC, and the Council tomorrow, will highlight these and collaborative measures and plans put in place to address them. I therefore take this opportunity to wish for engaging deliberations and fruitful outcomes as we collaborate to seek ways of providing a high-quality education to our Caribbean people. And I wish at the same time that you would have very good things to say about St. Vincent when you leave, and that you will enjoy the rest of your time with us. Thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you very much, Minister. And he stays true to form, doesn't give long speeches. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have some more entertainment, and we have a young band, Resonance, they are called. And this young band is made up of young men who have done very well, very, very well at the CAPE examinations. As a matter of fact, 3 of them are national scholars here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the band, Resonance.
Mrs. K. Martin-Jack, who is a Senior Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, and she's also the chairperson of the local organizing committee of the governance meetings and the award ceremony in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, Kay, just tell us a little, let's reflect a little bit. We just chit-chatting.
Okay. All right, Marla. The journey would have been a rather hectic one. Bearing in mind one still has to continue with their normal duties. However, we had a team that really came together and brought all the plans together. There were quite a number of meetings where we had to work on various aspects, hence there were a number of committees. that were put in place to oversee various aspects. And here we are tonight.
All right, so you think we would be, last time we hosted was 2006. Now it's 2018. You ready for the challenge again in the next couple of years when we host?
Mala, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. And indeed, I had a few sleepless nights because, you know, sometimes when you're lying there, something comes vividly to you and, oh, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And members of my team would tell you that at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would have been putting in the WhatsApp chat the ideas or thoughts that would have been coming through, or things that needed to be done as one would have evaluated. I think that having done this time around, in further evaluation, we would obviously we'd look at what the shortfalls were and improve on them next time around.
Mm-hmm. Do you see any benefits of actually hosting the governance meetings and award ceremony in St. Vincent?
I think there are. In that, the regional top awardees, the students, they were given the opportunity to interact with our own students here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And today we hosted a brunch in which we had our local students, and the interaction was very enriching. They were down to earth in terms of the advice that was given by the awardees. For example, I remember one of the students here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines expressed that they had a challenge with their phone, and one of the awardees simply said to him, if you have to chuck it, chuck it.
Chuck it away.
Chuck it away. If you have to chuck it. And he said, he further went on to say to him, rather than playing around with what is on Instagram, download some math activities that you can engage in. And I thought that was very good, you know, and I hope that with the students getting this feedback in terms of how these students would have organized themselves, which would have aided them in excelling, that they too can incorporate this in their own preparation for CSEC and KEEP.
Mm-hmm. And forging ahead, how do you think, have we garnered anything in terms of preparing more students so that perhaps next year we can have more of our students being top awardees as well?
I think as one of the awardees would have indicated in terms of the subjects that she would have attempted, they had certain common themes across, so it was not as difficult as we would have thought. For example, you would have had food and nutrition, the IS, even in terms of the biology, agriculture, there were certain things that were common there, so you didn't have to study that again. You know, you just zeroed in on the differences and you went ahead. One of the students also indicated that you have to really want it in terms of persevering and being determined, and if you can remain focused, anything is possible.
All right, so I want to thank you for dropping in, and it's almost done. It's just tonight, and then there's tomorrow, and good wishes for a good end.
All right, thank you very much, Mother. Thank you very much.
All right. Yes, so viewers, we are witnessing the performance of Resonance, a boy band. Let's take in some of their performance.
Yes, give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. They're talented and they're, P.S., bright. They are bright. Yes. And male. They're male. Certainly, they are shining brightly here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. At this time, we do again want to apologize for the absence of our Prime Minister. And we are going to go into the award section of this evening's event. If I could ask to have the podium just move a bit from here. Alexander, thank you. All right, we are going to move right into the awards section, and we will begin with the CCSLC Top Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, special night for a select group of young, hardworking people from across the Caribbean, the creme de la creme of the 2018 Caribbean Examinations Council's May-June sitting for the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC. The Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE. They have journeyed from Antigua and Barbuda, Jamaica. Yes, you can clap for your island. So that's Antigua and Barbuda. Jamaica, Grenada, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago to assemble here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for this very special occasion. To ensure that CCSLC has parity of esteem and to bring it in line with the other qualifications, the Council approved a proposal to offer 2 regional top awards for outstanding performance in CCSLC starting in 2016. This year, it is therefore the 3rd year that these awards are being presented. The awardees receive a plaque, an all expenses paid trip to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a monetary prize, and a gift from Hodder Education. Tonight we present the 3rd CCSLC Awards. The awards are for the top male performer and top female performer in CCSLC. I would like at this point to call on the Leader of the Opposition, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday. Yes, I know you were not expecting it, sir, but we are calling on you to assist in the presentation of these next 2 awards. Please welcome Dr. Friday as he comes. We call first the most outstanding male performer. Christian Meneses Chow Chang, of Presentation Brothers College, Grenada. Christian achieved Master in CCSLC English and Mathematics and Grade 1 in CSEC Information Technology, Principles of Business and Electronic Document Preparation and Management. Welcome, Christian. Thank you very much, Christian. The next award goes to the most outstanding female. Daria James of Washington Archibald High School, St. Kitts and Nevis. Daria achieved Master in CCSLC English and Mathematics and Grade 1 in CSEC Information Technology, Principles of Business and Electronic Document Preparation and Management. Give another round of applause. Thank you very much, Dr. Friday. We move next to the CSEC Awards. We present the awards for outstanding performances in Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC. Before we commence the presentation, I know there are teachers, parents, relatives, and well-wishers sharing the spotlight tonight with their children or students. We would like to acknowledge all the parents, relatives, teachers, and well-wishers of awardees who have traveled from your respective countries to be with your charges tonight. Can you please stand and be recognized? Yes, give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for coming and welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The CSEC awardees prize package includes a cash prize, a plaque, a gift from Hodder Education, and a full scholarship from the University of the West Indies. Once the awardee goes on to complete CAPE or an associate degree to matriculate to the program he or she wishes to pursue. Since 2001, the University of the West Indies has partnered with CXC to offer scholarships to the CSEC Regional Top Awardees. The scholarships are intended to serve as a motivation for students to excel and an attempt to keep the best brains from the region in the region. Now to the presentations. And at this time, I would like to call the Pro Registrar to assist us with the first presentation to the most outstanding candidate in visual arts three-dimensional work. Sorry? Okay, thank you. The most outstanding candidate in visual arts three-dimensional work is O'Keen Wallace, St. George's College, Jamaica. O'Keen's piece is entitled The Forest and is taken from the painting and mixed media option. Okay, so we pause to acknowledge the entrance of our Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves. Welcome, sir. We realize you must have just come off the plane and into the hall. Thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, give the Prime Minister another round of applause for being committed to being here tonight. And we will continue with the awards. I will read again. O'Keen, let me just read your, before you. O'Keen's piece is entitled The Forest and is taken from the painting, The Mixed Media Option. Thank you very much, O'Keen. Thank you very much, sir. I would at this time like to call the Deputy Chair to assist us in presenting the Best Short Story and Humanities Award. This one. The Best Short Story Writing Award goes to K. Kishane Virgo, Montego Bay High School, Jamaica. Kishane's story is entitled Betrayal. A round of applause again for Kishane. Oh, I missed this one. Don't leave us as yet. You have another one to present. The most outstanding candidate in humanities, Salma Majid, Isa Islamic School, Guyana. Salma achieved grade 1 in 18 subjects: biology, Caribbean history, chemistry, English A, English B, geography, information technology, physics, social studies, religious education, Spanish, electronic document preparation and management, human and social biology, additional mathematics, food nutrition and health, and family resource management. Okay, at this time, I would like to call on the registrar to present the science and business education. And since we missed the second visual arts award, you will also present that one. Okay. So we'll do the second visual arts award. At this time, the most outstanding candidate in visual arts two-dimensional work, Danielle Jennard, Walmer's Girls School, Jamaica. Danielle's creation is entitled Deal with the Devil and is taken from the sculpture and ceramics option. Thank you very much, Danielle. We go now to the most outstanding candidate in sciences. Danielle Baldio Thorne, Queen's College, Guyana. Danielle achieved grade 1 in 13 subjects and grade 2 in 1 subject. He achieved grade 1 in additional mathematics, agricultural science, double award, biology, chemistry, English A, English B, electronic document preparation management, French, geography, human and social biology, integrated science, mathematics and physics, and grade 2 in French. The most outstanding candidate in business education, Rebecca Passard, St. Rose High School, Guyana. Rebecca achieved 9 grade 1s, 1 grade 2, and 1 grade 3. She achieved grade 1s in economics, information technology, English A, English B, mathematics, office administration, principles of accounts, principles of business, electronic document preparation and management, and additional mathematics, grade 2 in social studies, and grade 3 in Spanish. Thank you very much, Register. And at this time, I'd like to call on the Minister, Minister Prince, to hand over the award for the most outstanding candidate overall. And the most outstanding candidate overall receives 2 awards, a plaque and a shield, and Minister, you will hand them over both. The most outstanding candidate overall, Keandre Herbert, St. Joseph's Academy, Antigua and Barbuda. Keandre achieved grade 1 in 20 subjects. Grade 1 in 20 subjects. He achieved grade 1 in biology, Caribbean history, chemistry, economics, English A, English B, French, information technology, integrated science, mathematics, office administration, physics, principles of accounting, principles of business, social studies, electronic document preparation and management, physical education and sport, human and social biology, technical drawing, and industrial technology. Thank you very much, Minister. And at this time, we would like to present the CSEC School of the Year Award. And since our Prime Minister is here, I'm going to ask him to make that presentation. CSEC School of the Year Award. For the second time in 4 years, St. Joseph's Academy in Antigua and Barbuda has produced the most outstanding candidate overall in the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC May-June examinations. As you heard earlier, Keandre Benjamin, a student of the Academy, that's Keandre Herbert, I apologize, Keandre. A student of the Academy achieved grade 1 in 20 subjects at one sitting. I would like at this time to invite Mr. Rudolph Davis, Principal of St. Joseph's Academy, to receive the CSEC School of the Year Award. Thank you very much, sir. And the plaque as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Thank you. At this time, we are moving on to the presentation of the ACCA Principles of Accounts and POA Award. And I would like to call our PS, Mrs. Maureen Williams, to do the presentation for this award. In 2017, CXC and the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants, ACCA, signed an MOU. Part of the MOU speaks to ACCA rewarding top performers in CAPE, accounting, and CSEC principles of accounts in each CXC participating country. Tonight, we take the opportunity to present the winners of the ACCA CSEC POA winners for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2018. We call at this time Rihanna Glynn of the Girls High School. And the next awardee is Nikolai John of the St. Vincent Grammar School. Thank you very much, PS. Thank you very much. We'll take a short break from the awards at this time for a bit of entertainment from one of our local entertainers, Mr. Darren Andrews, Darren is a graduate of the Edna Manley College, Jamaica, and he is currently an education officer for music here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's Darren Andrews and the Girls High School String Quartet. Welcome them, please.
have with me two of the recipients who just received their awards. They're from Jamaica, O'Keen Wallace of the St. George's College, Jamaica, and Daniel Gennard of Walmer's Girls School. So how does it feel? You just received your award. Do you think that it's in Jamaica there's a wave right now? How do you feel?
First of all, for me, it's exciting as it should be. So, I'm glad that I got my award. And I do think there is somewhat of a connection to an extent, because of our past history. We're rich in culture, very diverse. So I'd say there's a connection there.
How do you feel?
I'm very exhilarated. Like suddenly it felt like the AC got turned down. So yeah, so right now in Jamaica they're supposed to be really proud of us. And
do you think it's any coincidence that the two art awards went home to Jamaica?
Well, kind of and kind of not. Well, I say kind of because usually we don't receive the top art awards. Don't you think so?
I haven't checked the history, but from my standpoint, I'm looking at the previous artisans that came out of the island, such as, your Bob Marley's, now you have his sons, Damian Marley, and you have Chronix, and all these wonderful artists, visual artists as well, like Gene Pearson, yes, actors as well as Rex Nexelford. So I see a lot of arts happening in Jamaica.
Okay, where do you go from here? Do you see yourself pursuing careers related to art?
Well, not really. I'm planning on studying medicine, but I'll use art as a means of finding money, as in to make money.
What about you?
For me, yes, I do. So I'm actually enrolled in Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. So I'll be pursuing a bachelor's in visual communication there. I'm in my first semester of the first year.
Okay, and coincidentally, the performance that we're having right now is from a graduate of Edna Manley. He was in the School of Music, Darren Andrews.
So that's a testament to the historicity of...
Right. What can you say to other students listening about pursuing art, even at CSEC or at Cape level? Because, sometimes students feel that art is not important. At least it's not as important as the sciences. So what can you say to students?
Well, I would say art is more of a bigger thing than it may seem, It spans much further than the visual and music. So you have areas like dance, music is one of them, and visual arts is the mainstream one, but it's much larger than that. So you have things like publishing, book covers, billboards, things like that in our everyday life, packages. So art is very much a naturally occurring thing with everyday life, especially in the modern times,
Okay, so you were awarded for 2-dimensional work and you 3-dimensional. Just explain the difference.
Okay, for 2-dimensional, these are the areas of drawing and painting and mixed media.
Yeah, and the 3 dimensions involve sculpture and ceramics. And yes, leathercraft.
Alright, so I just want to take this opportunity to wish you all the best with your artistic work in the future. Keep drawing, keep painting, keep doing whatever you do, and all the best in your future endeavors as well. Alright, thank you very much. We're going to take in some from Darren Andrews at this time.
put your hands together again and give a louder round of applause for Darren Andrews and the Girls High School String Quartet. Just before we continue with the awards, we are going to give our Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Rav Gonsalves, an opportunity to bring greetings to all of you. Prime Minister.
Madam Chairperson.
We're here with our two top performers for CCSLC. One is from St. Kitts, the other is from Grenada. Now, I know that there must be people from Grenada and St. Kitts looking at this interview, so just big up your people at home now.
Big up everybody in the PBC family. Y'all are really who drive me to do my best. All my friends, all my family, everybody in Grenada, because we're so close-knit that one push is all it takes to get us this far.
Yeah, big up all the people in St. Kitts, all my friends, my mom, my dad, everybody. Thank you for your words of encouragement.
All right, so it's Sugar City and it's Spice Isle. Tell us really quick, in 30 seconds, what did it take for you to achieve what you did?
Just essentially a lot of hard work, time management, and just preparation. Like, it's really hard to say exactly what it took, but just knowing yourself and knowing what you need to do and just working towards that goal.
Yeah, knowing what you want for yourself and putting your mind towards it.
All right, so these are our male and female top performers for the CCSLC. Thank you very much for dropping in. We're going to take it stage side. The Prime Minister is on the floor.
Hi, Grandma. Friday in Parliament on Monday, so I couldn't miss this. I couldn't miss this whatsoever. I really want to congratulate you. You know, there's an old friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. He wrote a beautiful poem in the late 18th century. I've had some old friends, you know. I've been around a long, long time. You know, I'm almost on a first-name basis with Nehemiah, the prophet builder. Not quite, but I'm almost. Been around so long. Wordsworth said, bliss was it in that dawn to be alive. But to be young was very heaven. It's blissful for persons where we are hearing one another and talking to one another to be alive. But the condition of youth is heavenly. And you have to make the most of this heavenly condition. I want to be around to see you for as long as possible, to see that you soar like eagles with your wings unclipped. Always remembering, as children of our Caribbean civilization, that though you're not better than anyone, nobody is better than you. Never forget that. And there's a rich tradition in all disciplines in our civilization. And the important thing is that you have to sup. You have to drink from the fountain of universal values, but at the same time to stamp them with the Caribbean particularity and to transcend that which has come from other places and give it your own imprimatur of excellence. And I have no doubt that you will do that, because you are the best that we have produced. And I thank Almighty God for you. You're going to meet trials, you're going to meet tribulations. But I'm 72 years old, and I've learned not to be a lamentations man. In fact, Jeremiah, whom we are told
is he who has written most about lamentations in the Hebrew Bible. But early in the book of Lamentations, he said something which is instructive. His compassion faileth not. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. All that we need, his hand had provided. Great is his faithfulness. So why are we going to have lamentations? Huh? There's no need for it. We have been given abundant blessings, and we're renewed every morning with them. Education has been transformed over the years, and it will be transformed even further. By 2050, you will be knowing things and analyzing subject matters which we can only dream about. And you're going to live to the year 2100. Yes. And the world is going to be vastly different than it is today. And the requisites of education, they're changing rapidly. And you have to be prepared every day, every year, to be learning and relearning and unlearning. But you're prepared well. And you're on an excellent path. You know, above all things, the first in education is to train critical minds to receive and transmit universal culture, including science and technology, but with a Caribbean particularity. Secondly, to train ourselves for the modern economy, local, national, regional, and global, and to become masters of it in your interest, in the interest of your own humanization. And thirdly, to acquire, to be inculcated in a bundle of tried and tested values which constitute the core of our civilization, our Caribbean civilization, which is a civilization of nobility and with an immense trajectory for further ennoblement. And you are the carriers for that ennoblement. The writers of the creative imagination are there to give you inspiration. But not only to inspire, but to draw out of you that which is good and noble in you, and to draw out goodness and nobility which you do not as yet know that you possess. Which you do not as yet know that you possess. And it will come. Thank you very much for coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I wish if all of you can come and live in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All the awardees, I would be overjoyed. But I know that wouldn't happen. But if that can't happen, in addition to those from our own part of the civilization, if one or two of you can end up as spouses here in St. Vincent. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. At this time, we are going to move into the Cape Awards. The CXC Cape Regional Top Awards have returned home. Yes, right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it was here in 2006 that the first set of awards for outstanding performances in Cape were presented. Since then, several of the awardees have gone on to win many academic accolades, including the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship, which has been won by 4 former CAPE awardees and 2 former CSEC awardees, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines' very own Kamal Wood. Since its inception in 2016, the CAPE Top Awards program has attracted a few corporate sponsors, and we will start with the presentation of the 3 sponsored CAPE Awards. First, the CXC Higher Education CAPE Humanities Award. Pearson Education has been associated with the CXC Regional Top Award program for many years. In the past, the company provided dictionaries with CD-ROM for all CSEC awardees for many years and life skills books for CAPE awardees from the inception of the CAPE Awards. In 2013, Pearson entered into an agreement to sponsor an award for the most outstanding humanities student at CAPE in the Caribbean. Pearson has now been acquired by Higher Education, and therefore the award is now called the Higher Education CAPE Humanities Award. I now invite Mr. Byron Wilson of Higher Education, the Higher Education representative in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to present the 2018 Higher Education CXC CAPE Humanities Award to Michaeli Tony of Presentation College, San Fernando, Trinidad and Tobago. Michaeli Tony achieved grade 1 in 10 units: Caribbean Studies, Communication Studies, Entrepreneurship Units 1 and 2, Environmental Science Units 1 and 2, Geography Units 1 and 2, and Sociology Units 1 and 2. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Congratulations, Michaeli. The ACCA Business Studies Award. In August 2017, CXC and ACCA signed a Memorandum of Understanding for closer collaboration between the 2 entities. As part of the MOU, ACCA is sponsoring national awards for outstanding performance in CAPE accounting and CSEC principles of accounting, an overall outstanding POA award, and the regional award for the most outstanding performance in CAPE business studies. Tonight, we present the second ACCA CXC CAPE Business Studies Award, and I ask former chairman of CXC, Professor Nigel Harris, to present this award. Thank you very much, Professor. The award goes to Celine Sundar of Lashmi Girls High, that's Girls Hindu College, Trinidad and Tobago. Celine becomes the second recipient of the ACCA-sponsored award. She achieved grade 1 in 8 units, Accounting Units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies, Communication Studies, Economic Units 1 and 2, and Management of Business Units 1 and 2. Another round of applause for Celine. Thank you, Professor Harris. The RM Results CAPE Mathematics Award. At this time, I would call on Mr. Jonathan Hale, Head of International Customers at RM Results, to make this presentation. After attending the 2016 Regional Top Award ceremony in Barbados, so impressed was Jonathan that he wanted RM to be part of this event. He then approached CXC early the next year, and as they say, the rest is history. Last year, RM sponsored the first CAPE Mathematics Regional Top Award. This year, the winner is Rajiv Muneshwar of Queen's College, Guyana. A student from Queen's College also copped that award last year. Rajiv achieved grade 1 in 12 CAPE units. The subjects he took are Applied Mathematics Units 1 and 2, Biology Units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies, Chemistry Units 1 and 2, Communication Studies, Integrated Mathematics, Physics Units 1 and 2, and Pure Mathematics Units 1 and 2. Congratulations, Rajiv. Thank you very much, Mr. Hale. I will ask our Minister of Education, Mr. Jimmy Prince, to present this next award for Most Outstanding Candidate in Environmental Science. And that award goes to Jade Lacan from St. Joseph's Convent, Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. Jade achieved grade 1 in biology, units 1 and 2, Caribbean Studies, Communication Studies, Environmental Science, Units 1 and 2, and Geography, Units 1 and 2. Congratulations, Jade. Thank you very much, Minister. And last, but by no means, certainly not least, I would like to call on the Chairman, Professor Hilary Beckles, to present this next award for the Most Outstanding Candidate in the Caribbean overall. Language. Okay, we seem to have missed one. Professor? No, stay right there and you can present both of them. Okay, let's do the Most Outstanding Candidate in Modern Languages. I apologize for missing that one. And that award goes to Kiris Narsingh of Naparima Girls College, Trinidad and Tobago. Kiris achieved grade 1 in 8 units. Caribbean Studies, Communication Studies, French Units 1 and 2, Literatures in English 1 and 2, and Spanish Units 1 and 2. Congratulations, Kiris. And now the award for Most Outstanding Candidate in the Caribbean overall. Adila Ali, Queen's College, Guyana. Adila achieved grade 1 in Applied Mathematics, Units 1 and 2. Biology, Units 1 and 2. Caribbean Studies, Chemistry, Unit 2. Communication Studies, Environmental Science, Units 1 and 2. Integrated Mathematics, Physics, Units 1 and 2. Pure Mathematics, Units 1 and 2. And grade 2 in Chemistry, Unit 1. And Adila is also the Most Outstanding Candidate in Natural Sciences. Okay. I believe so, I'm not sure. All right, thank you very much. Professor, remain there first. Okay, and at this time, I would like to call on Mrs. Jackie Ben Ralph, Principal of Queen's College, Guyana, to receive the Cape School of the Year Award 2018. Mrs. Ben Rath, please remain on stage. Please remain on stage. Thank you. Professor, thank you very much. Mrs. Ben Ralph is no stranger to this next task. In fact, last year she was in the same position However, for the CSEC top candidate overall, she once again has the privilege to give remarks as she introduces the top overall CAPE student. Join me in welcoming Mrs. Ben Ralph, proud principal of the CAPE School of the Year, as she gives her remarks and also introduces the person who will do the vote of thanks.
Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Montgomery Daniel, Acting Prime Minister. The Honorable Godwin Friday, Leader of the Opposition. Honorable Sinclair Prince, Minister of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Mrs. Deborah Charles, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Other members of the Cabinet and members of Parliament. Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman, the Caribbean Examination Council. Dr. Marcia Potter, Deputy Chair, Caribbean Examinations Council. Professor Nigel Harris, former Chairman of CXC. Mrs. Maureen Williams, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information. Mr. Glenroy Comerbadge, Registrar of CXC. Members of Council. Members of the School Examinations Committee. Representatives from the Ministry of Education, National Reconciliation and Information, and other senior public servants. 2018 Regional Top Awardees. Representatives of sponsors of Regional Top Awardees. CXC resource persons, specially invited guests, members of the media. I stand here before this august body as a proud Guyanese and an honored position as principal of the most prestigious institution, Queen's College. This educational establishment has been in existence since the 5th of August, 1814. As a matter of fact, next year we will be celebrating our 175th anniversary. The Lord Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Guyana, the then Bishop Austin, was the founder of this prestigious establishment. It was specially designed to cater for those students of the white population who could not afford or did not want to attend the school in the United Kingdom. While it has been an all-boys school for a number of years, in 1975, the college became a co-educational institution. The school has been recognized for producing a number of renowned individuals who would have chartered a course of accomplishment over several decades. And in 2018, it is no different. Queen's College has managed to maintain its position as a top-performing school in the Caribbean region. I wish to advise the distinguished members here tonight that Queen's College has won the CSEC Regional Top Award on 7 occasions. And tonight, we are winning the Top CAPE Award for the 2nd time. I wish to celebrate the achievement of the students who represent this college here tonight. The most outstanding candidate overall, CAPE, Ms. Adila Ali, and the most outstanding candidate in natural sciences, Ms. Adila Ali, the most outstanding candidate in mathematics for CSEC, Rajiv Munishwar, and the most outstanding candidate in CXC science, Daniel Balio Thorne. However, the school must acknowledge what I'd like to say as the input of stakeholders. And so at this time, I wish to recognize and thank the Ministry of Education, Guyana, the Queen's College Board of Governors, the Queen's College PTA, members of the Queen's College staff, private sector and non-governmental agencies who would have supported the school over the years and who we must credit for the success of the students. Permit me now to introduce to you a young lady who has traversed the hallowed halls of the Queen's College institution. A devout Muslim born to Guyanese parents from humble beginnings, has once again written in the pages of the school's history. She would have entered the college in 2011 after being successful at a secondary school entrance examination. As an exemplary individual, she has always been on the honors roll, and in 2014 was a top performer at the National Grade 9 examination. In 2016, this young lady sat 22 subjects and achieved 19 grade 1s and 3 grade 2s. While she was unable to become the top CSEC performer that year, she was credited at the National Award Ceremony as the CSEC Best Performer for Guyana. In 2018, this national awardee and presidential scholar again made history. Tonight, I wish to congratulate Ms. Adila Ali, who has made her school very proud and who has been an individual that others can emulate. An inspirational young lady who is currently reading for her Bachelor's of Science degree in medicine at the University of Guyana. I invite you at this time to join me in welcoming Ms. Adila Ali, CXC Top Cape Awardee for 2018.
Good night, everyone. All protocols observed. Tonight is one for the books, a night that will go down in history because it is this night that we recognize and honor the extremely massive performances of the creme de la creme of the Caribbean. Tonight we saw the embodiment of success as they walked across the stage and collected their esteemed awards, their faces lit up by their smiles of accomplishment and triumph. As I stand before you, I deem it a great honor and privilege to have been given the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks at this year's CXC Regional Awards ceremony. We, the awardees, have stood on the shoulders of giants who played an integral part in us being afforded the opportunity to celebrate this moment in time. And so, in addition to celebrating our success, we would also like to recognize those who would have helped pave the way leading up to this occasion. Firstly, I wish to bring our attention to the Almighty, without whom we would not have been in this astounding position that we are in today. While it is a common practice to ask of Him our desires, wants, and needs, it is poignant that we also give thanks when those same desires, wants, and needs are fulfilled, and especially when even more than what we asked for is given to us. When God sees you doing your part, developing what He has given you, then He will do His part and open doors that no man can shut. Secondly, heartfelt gratitude is given to the Caribbean Examination Council, its members, and associated partners. It is through their ongoing initiatives and their interest in bettering education in the Caribbean that we are able to go out onto international platforms and excel tremendously, not only as students, but in the near future as working adults, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and politicians making a difference in the world. We, the regional awardees, are grateful for this ceremony that recognizes our hard work and efforts endured during our preparations for examinations, all the sacrifices, late nights, and even the doubts. And we thank the organizers, media personnel, and those behind the scenes for truly making us feel special tonight. To the benevolent people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you are some of the most beautiful and warmest people I have met. And we highly appreciate the Vincentian experience, which will forever be etched in our memories. While we were just getting accustomed to your mountains, the lovely islands of Bequia and Young Island, your winding, steep roads, your lovely ferry, for some, your quite interesting traffic in rush hour, and your black sand beaches, it is almost time that we bid you farewell as our week-long stay has come to an end. We say thank you to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, especially Mr. Cleveland Sam, our chaperones, Miss Pompey and Miss Balcom, and their entire team who throughout the week showcased to us the wonders of their homeland, making it feel like home away from home. We take back with us to our respective territories friendships with truly amazing and brilliant people, the people from the Caribbean, inclusive of Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, Guyana, and St. Kitts, including Antigua and Barbuda, where some of the brightest minds evolved, and we learned that even though miles of the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean separate us, we are similar in more ways than we think. We will miss the chicken curry debate between the Trinis and the Guyanese, even though we all know that chicken curry is the right way to say it. I'm just saying. And this is for the awardees. They would know what I'm talking about. To Lord Nutmeg, a proud Grenadian, telling us all about the Nutmeg Island of Grenada. We'll miss the Jamaicans with their exceptional art skills, shaming us all at Young Island, but definitely highlighting the talent that Jamaica has to offer. Not forgetting the Antiguan who wowed us with his 20-subject victory, as well as the Kittian with her soft and kind nature representative of the people of St. Kitts. Next, it is pertinent that we extend our appreciation to our teachers. A teacher plants the seeds of knowledge, sprinkles them with love, and patiently nurtures their growth to produce tomorrow's dreams. We are tomorrow's dreams today. And we are the products of your hard work and efforts. Our teachers, we say thank you for all the lessons about algebra and the digestive system, and also, sometimes more importantly, for those life lessons about compassion, ambition, and determination, especially during those times when we felt like giving up. You saw in us something we perhaps didn't see in ourselves, and you pushed us and motivated us to become the best we can possibly be in whatever field we chose to be in. Your unparalleled support and patience will forever be appreciated, and so we say thank you again. Mom, Dad, the parents of my colleagues, and those looking on, the most beautiful thing in this world is to see you smiling and knowing that we are the reason behind that smile. Our parents are our biggest supporters and our #1 fans, and we thank you, perhaps never enough, for all the sacrifices you made, all the worries you had, and all the praying you did so that we could shine much brighter than the stars above us. I hope we have made you extremely proud, and I guarantee you that if you think you're proud now, just wait. We are just getting started on making our mark in the Caribbean and the world at large. Lastly, to my colleagues from the Caribbean, I take this opportunity to personally say thank you to you. Over the week, I would have heard the multitude of sacrifices and discipline you took on your journey to this point in your life, having succeeded, and now reaping the benefits. Thank you for being courageous, for challenging the society and the status quo, going beyond what is expected of you, and truly raising the bar for education in the Caribbean. Through this feat, we would have inspired others below us to follow in our footsteps to perform even better than we did in the years to come, and to ultimately develop the Caribbean region, making it a place of innovation, opportunity, and promise. As I conclude the vote of thanks, I leave you all with this quote from the late Steve Jobs, who said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." Thank you.
Thank you very much. Adila Ali, most outstanding Cape candidate overall. And usually, at the end of the vote of thanks, we usually say, we're over, but we're not yet over. We want at this time to welcome Rodney Small as he brings you the sweet sounds of steel. Welcome, Rodney Small, to the podium, please. Kylie, he's from Trinidad and Tobago, the recipient of the most outstanding award in humanities, and we have Carice, who is most outstanding in modern languages at Cape. Now, we start with Carice. Just tell us some of the, for this would benefit of students listening, tell us some of the things that you would advocate for the study of modern languages. We often hear, French is hard to pronounce, or Spanish has too many verbs. So what are some of the things that you would really say to students to help them in their study?
I see all the time consistency matters. So for me, especially for literature, which is harder for most people, it's a hard subject overall. I studied all of my books beforehand, before the term even started, so I would get like, first I would teach myself and then the teachers would teach me, so it would be stuck in my head. I would analyze all of my texts beforehand, and in addition to that, for languages, you have to go beyond the syllabus, which means that you have to go through various media platforms. For instance, movies, broadcasts, news, everything like that to get the pronunciation right and to make sure that you reach your highest potential in the subjects.
Okay, and we know that the world has become a global village.
Yeah.
So just say something to students to really convince them that, modern language. We heard this morning the student who wanted to drop French, right?
Yeah.
What would you really say to them to, motivate them to do the languages because they are important?
Well, you did say rightly that the world is a global village now, and that's fostered by languages. I mean, it's the way that we communicate with each other through translation. Translation can never be directly correct, but we can still advocate this global communication through learning more languages. I think it's very important for everybody to learn at least one other language besides their own, and there's tendency to prioritize English over other languages, which is sad really, because we have so much potential. Right. Our capacity to learn is magnificent, and it should be the use of languages should be advocated to strengthen that.
All right, and Mikhaili, you are from a humanities background. You did entrepreneurship and Caribbean studies, communication studies, and so on. Now tell us, do you think that the humanities are an easier take than, let's say, the sciences?
No, I wouldn't say that, but that's subjective because it depends on how well you learn and what you're interested in. So people would argue that, some people in the humanities would argue that the humanities are actually harder because you have a lot more to read and learn. In addition to that, there's such a vast amount of knowledge and so many ways to interpret one thing that it becomes subjective to a point where two of us might agree on something, we might see it in a different way, and your perspective will be viewed as superior to mine, whereas we both have the same view, because similar to what my colleague said, language is very important. So the way in which you articulate what you believe in or your perspective, it would affect how correctly it's viewed, quote unquote.
And what do you think the winning of this award has done for the students at your school?
For sure, it has increased their interest in the humanities field. Because within our school we focus heavily on maths and science, and I believe that's Trinidad and our whole. So now that students realize, okay, humanities is something that we can get into and succeed and do well, and it's also beneficial to you as a person personally as well as in all other aspects of your life, whether it will be socially, economically, because you understand how society works. A lot of other facets of your life are able to flourish with humanities. So I believe that somewhat it has encouraged students to venture into a field that is not really ventured into as much.
Right, so I want to thank you guys for passing through. It's probably the last time I'm going to see you. It was really nice meeting you, and I just want to wish you all the best in your future. And come back to St. Vincent someday. Alright, thank you very much. Okay. Alright, viewers, and we are going to try to slip in. You guys can go. Okay. We can try to slip in a few more interviews, but right now the ceremony is being wrapped up by the MC. There is a cocktail which will follow for the top awardees as well as members of the council. But at this time we are going to do another interview with the top performer at CXC and his principal. Okay.
Downstairs. Thanks again and have a wonderful night. Get home safe, everybody.
evening and welcome to the most exciting room in the building. Well, I have to say congratulations. It's the second year that your school is bringing the title back home to Antigua Barbuda. What do you think is the climate right now? Are people excited? What's the climate at your school?
Well, I guess they have to be rejuvenated because at the announcement a month and a half ago, it was my blood pressure raised. Yes.
Well, I know lots of Antiguans are probably logged on to the stream right now and wishing you well. But how does it feel having just received the award as top? We're not talking about top in Antigua. This is top in the Caribbean. That's a big accomplishment. I want to say congrats. And tell us how you feel right now.
Well, I'm extremely proud of myself. I'm extremely proud I'm able to represent all Antiguans in the region. Even though Antigua topped the award this year, I mean, it's a regional body, and I believe that everybody should be proud of us as the Antigua in Barbuda in the Caribbean, because we're all one body, and we should be proud of the accomplishments that young people have made.
Okay, and so do you believe that you do something special at your school? What are the ingredients? Tell us.
Well, my school is an all-boys school. Yes. And maybe Kianja can attest that when I go around to the classes and at assembly, I hold certain things there. And I create with my team, don't leave them out, a structure that boys must fit into. You see, I've been inspired by the naysayers who have been down-crying boys for years, underachieving. Boys are not living off. Yeah. And I've set out with my team to, not to prove people wrong, but to give boys that cutting edge that they need. And if you're given the structure, they can. Boys, I told my children that boys are made of sugar and spice and everything nice like girls. And nice rocks and snails and puppy dog tails. And they have dignity and self-worth and self-esteem. And therefore apply themselves, they can do great things.
That's right. And now we're wrapping up. Just a final word to the students listening in particular. A final word of motivation, because you have to, I know that you have to go.
Yes, I believe that the best thing I can tell you is to always believe in yourself. Once you have the mindset and you stick to your goal, you will be able to achieve it.
And Antigua, we do this again for you.
Alright, thank you so much for stopping in, yes, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you very much.
Alright, good. Okay, viewers, and this is where we are, the students are assembling right now for a group photo, and we are just about wrapping up the activity, but before we go, we have a few interviews left. And we will wrap things up. Just to give you an idea, after tonight's event, tomorrow there will be the meeting of the council, followed by a press conference, and later on in the evening a cocktail reception for the council. You have been viewing live coverage of the opening of the 50th meeting of the Caribbean Examinations Council and presentation of awards for outstanding performances in the May-June 2018 examinations. We saw towards the end there the presentation of award to the top Cape performer, Adila Ali of Queen's College, Guyana, and she in fact received the Dennis Irvin Award. Now Dennis Irvin, he contributed to the establishment of CXC and served as chairman from 1974 to 1979. He was the chairman when the first examinations were administered in 1979. He continued to serve as a co-opted member of council until his death on 26th of November 2005. After the CXC examinations were well established, he worked with council to conceptualize the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination CAPE, which was administered for the first time in 1998. Council, at its 36th meeting held in Jamaica on the 2nd of December 2005, paid tribute to Dr. Irvin and agreed to establish an award in his memory. As of 2006, the top candidate in Cape received the Dennis Irvin Award. So Adila Ali of Queen's College, she walks away tonight with something to remember as the winner of the 2018 Dennis Irvin Award. She becomes the second student from Queen's College, Guyana to win this award. I am just sticking around. I've been advised that there is 1 or 2 more interviews left. But it has been a good night. It has been a good night. We've witnessed several awards. For CCSLC, 2 awards, students from Grenada and St. Kitts. We saw several awards for CSEC, the most outstanding in short story writing from Jamaica, most outstanding in visual arts, 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional work, also from Jamaica, the candidates. There's most outstanding in humanities from Guyana, most outstanding candidate in business education, that was Rebecca Prasad, also from Guyana. Most outstanding candidate in the sciences, Daniel Baldio Thorne from Queen's College, Guyana. And of course, we just spoke with most outstanding candidate overall, Keandre Herbert of the St. Joseph's Academy, Antigua and Barbuda. Now, for the Cape Regional Top Awards, we had the most outstanding candidate in environmental science from Trinidad and Tobago, Jade Lacan from St. Joseph's Convent in Port of Spain. We had the most outstanding candidate in modern languages, Carice Narenseng of Naparima Girls College, Trinidad and Tobago. Most outstanding candidate in humanities, and that was the Hodder Education Award, Mikhaili Tony of the Presentation College, San Fernando, Trinidad and Tobago. Most outstanding candidate in business studies, the ACTA Award by Celine Sunda of the Lakshmi Girls Hindu College, Trinidad and Tobago. Most outstanding candidate in mathematics, the RM Award, Rajiv Maneshwar of Queen's College, Guyana. And most outstanding candidate in natural sciences, Adila Ali, Queen's College, Guyana, who also copped the most outstanding candidate overall in the Caribbean. Once again, I am standing by to do a few more interviews with the students who are right now taking some photos. There is a media session actually with the students who would then head on the lower floor of this building for a cocktail. Just to remind you of what has happened this week, all in keeping with the CXC governance meetings and regional awards hosted right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The students started arriving on Sunday, and on Monday they traveled to Bequia for an island tour where they had the opportunity to meet with students there, and they interacted, they shared their experiences and tips and so on to the students. In fact, it was a reciprocal gift because students on the island of Bequia were able to share information with them. But right now we have with us the top Cape performer, who must be really, really happy now, Adila Ali, Queen's College, Guyana. Now, Adila, it must be a really proud moment, not just for you, but for your parents, for your school, and for your country.
Yes.
How do you feel?
There are no words to describe how I feel. Like, my hands are extremely filled. And like, I can't even shake people's hands because they're so filled. And you know, the feeling is just immensely great. And I'm really grateful for this experience and to CXC for providing this and having this type of ceremony so that, you know, we could feel like what we did was, you know, good.
So did you actually visualize yourself becoming a top performer, CXC top performer?
No, I actually didn't, because I wouldn't say that I'm a very brilliant person. I like to consider myself as, you know, okay, you know?
Yeah, that's very modest.
And, you know, my goal wasn't entirely to top the Caribbean, it was just to top my country. And Then this came along, and I was very shocked. But you know, I think I worked really hard to get this.
Yes, and I want to say congratulations. Now, apart from receiving the Dennis Irvin Award as the top performer for Cape in the Caribbean, what were the other awards you received?
So I also received the award for Best Natural Science Student overall, and then there was the other award for just topping the Caribbean, as being the top performer for the Caribbean.
Okay, so where does Adela go from here?
Okay, so right now I'm actually enrolled at the University of Ghana, the medical program, so that's what I'm doing right now.
All right, so in a few years we could listen out for the name Adela Ali as one of the top medical doctors in the region, in the world, in fact, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what would you say, just finally, to students to really motivate or to inspire them to do well?
Never put a limit on yourself. There are infinite opportunities. You just need to recognize them and grab them. Yes, it is going to take a lot, but great things take a lot of hard work. And you need to do that. It's all a process. I'm a big advocate for writing a lot of subjects because it would have afforded me a lot of opportunities and I would have been able to develop myself as a person. I have a better understanding of things and I look at things in a broader sense and in multiple perspectives. And so my advice to future students who are going to, one day walk in my footsteps or are trying to pursue these, all these subjects to walk in my footsteps, go for it, go big, let nothing stop you.
All right, so thank you so much, Adela. I want to say congrats once again and keep striving for excellence, keep doing well. Folks, this is where we wrap things up. We've come to the end of this live broadcast for the opening of the 50th meeting of the Caribbean Examinations Council and the presentation of awards for outstanding performances in the May-June examinations. We've had a good night and I want to thank you for joining us. My name is Marlon Anton. Have a good evening.
Great.
From La Sofre to the Grenadines, I love you, St. Vince, me sweet little island, St. Vince. I love you, St. Vince, home of the blessed St. Vince. St. Vincent.